Okay, so in next 10 minutes, I'll try to tell and give a bit more insight, kind of how did we got to an IPO, how did the process went, what worked, what didn't, and then we'll cover a little bit what are the plans going forward. So to start, it's fair to say that we were quite ready as a company, like as a business, having kind of quite a few elements of both value story and growth story. We've been many years profitable. We had a corporate governance in place. We've been active debt capital market participant. But at the same time, company's DNA is all about growth, and we've been demonstrating that in figures. That's the main reason for doing an IPO. So we are going into the process quite confident as a business. But of course, it wasn't a quick process, and actually, I guess few people know, but actually we started thinking about raising equity in first, like quite a few years ago. So I can relate to Air Baltic that it's a lengthy process, and more than 4 years ago we started doing first tests. At first we were maybe more focused on private equity route, and we were again not very fortunate with timing, because in those 4 years we had to face COVID pandemic, then there was Russia invasion into Ukraine, so we had to wait, and then we had to find the right time for us. Around 2.5 years ago, we understood that for our type of business, having our geographical footprint, IPO is probably the right route. So this is when we started working to that direction. And approximately 12 months before an IPO, we formed a syndicate, partners, banks, brokers who would help to do it. And right away, project was kicked off. So in around 9 months to the actual listing, and we started sales activities also almost right away. So it was 7-8 months of pre-IPO work when it comes to talking with investors. And we tried to count how much presentations we held, how many meetings we had. So we definitely didn't take any shortcuts. Like we went the hard way. First of all, while selecting the syndicate, it essentially took 4 years, if you think about it. And we had more than 10 meetings with different banks, local, international. And at the same time, in these last 4 years, we had more than 150 pitches, which we made about the company. So that presentation we definitely know by heart by now. And just in the last 3 months, we counted that more than 50 presentations at different platforms were held. So sometimes it was, for roundtables for 10 investors, sometimes what is for retail, but we took every opportunity we could to put our story out there. Thinking even a little bit more, and kind of getting back to this 4-year story, what we had, here I've put some of names with whom we had either official engagement or were in deep kind of negotiation processes. So some of them really represent more of these international ambitions, and it was fun. It was interesting, kind of flying to London and so on. But at the same time, I think what's important is to understand the current reality. So it's not 2021 anymore. It's different multipliers. It's different market conditions, and I think companies need to face that and to adjust their appetite, their expectations, and to find the right partners for the right transaction. And I think we definitely did it. We focused on partners and on consultants with whom we had successful previous track record, whom we know can deliver. We focused on a quite wide syndicate because our goal was that banks, consultants, they would be fighting with us in this heavy market. They would not lose trust. They would put us in front of as many investors as possible. And also we knew that this size of transaction in these times, like we can't expect some very top tier funds come in and kind of buy half of the book. Like that wasn't our route. And then having LHV, Signet Bank, having like Warburg, German back in place, like it really helped us to to build the right foundation for this process. And of course, all of our partners from legal side, consultants, it really put the whole syndicate together and glued syndicate together. And if we're looking back, that was definitely one of the success cases of having a wide sales syndicate. And also what's very important, IPO you're doing only once, and that's a very, I would say, stressful process. So having the right teams in place, having the right chemistry, it really is very important. And I think we hit a jackpot here, because we chose the partners who we know can deliver and who has been delivering for us in our debt transactions, and also with whom we have a right chemistry. So when markets are tough, having a strong team is very important. And also, we've kind of graduated a school of debt capital markets. So we were always very active in maintaining our close relationship with institutional investors who have invested in our debt instruments. And essentially, that was one of the keys to success, because they supported us in equity transaction as well. So maybe we didn't have these traditional cornerstone cornerstone investors, but we had already indications from our debt investors that they will come at certain capacity and will support the company. So of course other things like PR, having the right financial advisor, that's important, but I would really mention those three things as keys to success. But of course not everything worked out. So we were, I guess, we can conclude that timing wasn't ideal. Like we were just discussing that. On top of that, there had been some one-off events, some default of quite company which raised quite a lot of money from Estonian investors. So markets were gloomy. And on top of that, we were very opportunistic while building our roadshows, and we thought that we will be able to convince funds which are focused on private investment into private companies to invest into public company, to invest in an IPO. So I guess summing up, I could say that I don't think we have accomplished that. But if I look back and should I do it again, definitely I would do it, because maybe it didn't work out for us in this particular conditions, but I think it's worth to put an effort and to really explore different potential pockets of capital. But end result is very satisfying for us. We had a goal to raise a base of 30 million. Our book was 33 million, and we ended up taking 29 million euros. We have more than 4,500 new equity investors, so that's great. Of course, that's a responsibility as well. And we have, I think, very, very healthy mix of retail and institutional investors. We have close to 50 institutional investors, both local, international, traditional institutional investors from abroad, family offices, high net worth individuals. So very wide mix, and I think that's what's needed in these times. And eventually we made the biggest ever IPO in Riga, so that's of course very satisfactory. And talking about the future, so it's very important not to forget this communication with the general public, with investors post IPO, and we definitely will try to do it very actively. Our stock was already, our IPO was already very well covered, because we had 3 bank analyst teams plus Enlight Research covering the company. So that's going to continue post-IPO. And at the same time, as a company, we really want to continue this communication with maybe some of the funds who have not invested initially or who have invested less than we could. So to putting our story, to putting our results out there, and using all the possible communication channels, conferences, roadshows, having put a very transparent information to the markets how business is doing, because this is essentially critical. Like it's not only markets work, it's a market situation, it's also company's job to do it. But of course everything boils down to what the business will do. That's always most important. And IPO wasn't an ultimate goal for us. It was another milestone. And with this 29 million, we really plan to put it to good use. Short term, like we'll be able to refinance some of our most expensive debt, which we're already doing. That, of course, will increase company's profitability, but the most focus will be on these three pillars: organic growth, launching new products, and launching new markets. And while doing that, our expectation is to double already successful business in next 3 years. So that goal has not changed, and along the way, we're also expecting to provide solid returns to our investors in forms of dividends. So that's our route to IPO, and that's our plans post IPO. Thank you very much.